Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Product Marketing Show. I'm your host, Trish. And today we're going to talk about how product marketing is beyond just messaging. With me, I have Aishwarya Mohan. Hi, Aishwarya. How are you doing?
Hi, Rish. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on this show. Really looking forward. I hope you're doing good too.
Pretty good. Aishwarya, so let's start with what you had for breakfast today.
Me, I had this South Indian special called idli. What about you?
Great. Um, I mostly had, I don't have breakfast actually. I skip breakfast mostly. I go for my
Okay.
run. Um, uh, Tell me one thing. How did you land into product marketing in the first place?
Before we jump in there, brief give a shout out to our sponsors, Content Beta, a full stack creative team on subscription for software companies. Create product marketing projects today and get delivery tomorrow.
It's an interesting story. So, I started off as a business development person back in Freshworks. That's where I started my career. Um, During my journey, I was doing a lot of things outside of business development area, like a short win loss analysis for my own customers, competitor analysis, and a bit more that was actually going beyond the scope of business development, along with what I was doing, by the way. So while I was doing that, I built that innate interest. Back then, I didn't know much about product marketing. I did know that there was a function that exists as product marketing, but I didn't know the nuances of it. Um, and then I got in talks with, folks from the marketing team, some well-wishers, some really good guides, who showed me what product marketing was. And that's why I thought, I'm actually doing these things without knowing it. And the best part about product marketing is the one that I really liked is being at the center of product, GTM, and customers, which is exactly what I wanted to be. I wanted to be closer with the product, but also did not want to trade off the relationships between the GTM teams and the customers, and that's how I landed on product marketing. That's the story.
I love it. So I love it. You are like a salesperson who turned into a product marketer. You basically uh, love talking to customers, and now you are talking to customers and talking to your product team both.
Yes, yes.
So a lot of people don't think of product marketing so strategically, right? Especially when it comes to early stage software startups, right? When do you think is the right time for a founder or for a marketer to think about product marketing as strategic to their business? Is it dependent upon the size? Is it dependent upon the product market fit? What do you think is the right time?
Great question. In fact, a few people did come to me about this as to when to set up the product marketing function. This is a very interesting question that's kind of talked about a lot these days. According to me, I think the best time to bring a product marketer in picture in an early stage startup is when the product is ready but yet to be launched, right? A lot of founders and CEOs, what they do is they launch the product and then they set up the GTM function, then they bring the product marketer. There are a lot of ways to do this, but I feel that you have to bring your product marketer when the product is ready and ready to be launched, because the product marketer is the one who knows how to sell it to the market. By selling, I mean holistically, right? How to market it to the product, how to simplify and deliver value to the market. That's what the function of a product marketer essentially is. So when you bring them when your product is ready, and let's say you're getting your product to be tested by a few potential customers, few well-wishers, few prospects, that's exactly when a product marketer has to be involved, because this is when the product marketer will understand how it is perceived by these potential prospects. How will it be perceived by the market when it is launched? How can it be launched? What are the ICPs that we are talking about? And what's the scope of this product? With the limited scope with which we are going to launch, how can we best deliver this product to the world, right? So these are the things that they will understand when this process is happening. And when you do the product launch with the product marketer, it's going to be more mature and it's going to be more scoped out, and it's not going to be all over the place. So for you to do it, you want your product marketer to be there before your product launch and probably after the product is ready. A few people also involve the product marketer way in the beginning. It's okay. It's great that the product marketer understands, the product from the inception of it. But it's probably ideal to bring them after the, somewhere when the product is going to be ready or when the product is ready.
Pretty nice. I mean, I had the same thought process that hey, you should do it before the launch from another guest of mine last week, Rekha Srinivasan from Salesforce.
Oh, okay.
And she told the same thing that hey, most founders are not thinking about product marketing as strategic. They think only when they scale up, like Series A, Series B. Now let's think about product marketer. Now let's continue our conversation on that same question. So how do you go beyond? So when you are scaling up, how do you grow your product marketing team? Because I mean, product marketing is also pretty huge, right? I mean, you have GTM, you have sales enablement, you have content creation for product. How do you think about this?
Again, great question. So let me link it from the previous question. In fact, you said it's a strategic role. It is. One common mistake I see, the founders or the CEOs doing in an early stage startup is hiring a product marketer for the sake of it. Hiring a product marketer who do not have an experience in product marketing, which is fine. It's okay because of so many restrictions. They tend to do it. But the problem with it is, like you said, it's a strategic role. The product marketer, the first product marketer has to know what to be done. If not, it's going to be chaotic. It's as equal as not having a product marketer. So you should be very cautious when you hire your first product marketer. So having said that, now coming to the evolution phase, right? The first product marketer that you hire will be more like a generalist, which means they do things end to end, starting from contributing to feature scoping, to launching the feature, sales enablement, and then product or the feature launch, product feature adoption. It's an end-to-end thread. So this product marketer is going to be an end-to-end generalist, right? Product marketer generalist. So let's say first 2, 3, 4 product marketers will be generalists. Now, when the evolution happens, the generalists become specialists. That's the actual switch that has to happen. Reason is, when will a business get into an evolution state? When is it going into the growth stage? When the customer base is growing and actually the GTM is also growing along with it. And these both are growing because the product is actually growing and evolving really fast. When all of this happens, and you don't even know that all these are happening, right? It's all happening, simultaneously. And accordingly, the product marketing function also has to evolve along with it to scale the company's growth. So this is when the product marketing team's evolution happens. You can increase the GTM folks' numbers, but it's not a straightforward thing in product marketing. You cannot just hire some 10 product marketers and ask them all to be generalists, right? Instead, you can be smart about it and split them into pods. Earlier, a generalist did an end-to-end thing, starting from feature scoping to sales enablement, launch, and everything. You can split this into 2-3 pods according to your needs, according to the business, how the business functions. One can be a GTM pod, which is solely based on feature launches, product launches, which is sitting very closely with the product team, the PMs, working with them and launching, the product. The second pod could be sales enablement. Now, this is very, very important because internal marketing is as important as external customer-facing marketing. The reason is your GTM teams are growing right now because it's in the evolution phase, right? And when they are growing, they have to be constantly enabled and they should be educated about the product, how to value sell the product and not just the features. So this is an important thing that sales enablement has to do. And why am I calling it internal marketing? Is because you can sell it to customers. It's easier than selling a product to the sales folks because they have to love the product to sell it the best ever way possible. So you have to sell the product to the sales folks for them to sell it the best way to the customers. So it's the sales enablement team which is sitting within the product marketing function to do this entire process. The third bucket is, you can call it any way you want. You can call it the tofu bucket, or you can call it the market focus bucket. Now, this bucket is very important because this can coordinate, this can liaise with different other product marketing teams, like the branding team, the demand gen, segment marketing team, customer marketing team. So this can sit with a lot of these teams and start, passing on product knowledge, and start filling the product gap in all of these pods. It can take care of the product pages within the website. It can take care of thought leadership in the product space, right? All of this is done by the tofu bucket, the market focus bucket. So this is one way to go about it. So the end goal is, when a PMM function is evolving, it's not just with hiring some bunch of product marketers, rather defining engines to run the entire product marketing function. And of course, each of these functions, within the product marketing has to collaborate a lot to, achieve the end goal of product marketing. So that's the phase I see. It's the next one for the evolving companies.
Awesome. So you spoke about sales enablement, you spoke about GTM, and you spoke about product content. It seems that content was cutting across. One thing common which I could feel is content cutting across all these different roles of product marketers. Are product marketers naturally content creators?
Very interesting question. 50-50, I would say. A few are really good at content. A few are really good at strategizing, thinking things out loud, thinking things out of the box. So I would say it's a mix. A product marketer should come with all of these skill sets. They should also be a content person. They should be a strategic thinker. They should be very well accustomed with product. Product is where things get technical, right? So they should understand the technicalities of the product. So they come with a mix of things. So I would say it's a 50-50.
One common thing which I hear from other product marketers is always they are chasing the product team, right? So product team comes out with the launch, with the feature development or engineering development in, let's say, 10 days, and the product marketer comes to know 5 days before the launch date. And it says there's a love-hate relationship between the product manager and the product marketer. Where have you seen this in the past, and what can you do to overcome something like this?
Amazing question. I think this has to be addressed by all PMs, by all PMMs. It has to be talked about a lot. I can't say enough about this relationship at all, because it's extremely important for a successful product launch or feature launch. This relationship plays a major role, because the product marketer has to put out the best story possible of these products and the features that they're launching. And the PMs in turn want this product adoption to happen, right? They're building something very fondly, and it has to be adopted by the customers. And PMM is the only way for it, right? GTM can sell it, great, but PMM is the first touch point for it. Whatever the PMM is defining that this feature and product is going to be, that's what the GTM is going to use. So that's why PMM is in the center. Like I started my conversation, PMM is the center of all of this. So maybe I'll start requesting PM and PMMs with a certain thing. PM has to understand the importance of PMM, like I said, because PMMs are the storytellers. You are great at product building. PMM know what they're doing, right? Leave it to them and see how they can do it, right? So if you're just building the product and keeping it in your box, it's not going to sell by itself, right? That's where the PMM comes into picture. So you have to, give them the space, give them the room to come and sit with you, help them, understand the market, come back to you, and give the inputs so that you can plan accordingly, take their inputs. And for the PMMs, the request that I'd make is, if you want to sit on the table with the PM and start scoping the feature, right, get in the conversations from the ideation phase, you have to bring value to the table, which means you have to evaluate the market, look at the competition, and bring a rough strategy to the table saying, hey, I understand this is a feature, this is how we are going to scope, this is how the market's looking at it. Maybe we can innovate more, or it's just a catch-up game. What is your input? Give it to that. Give it to the table, right? And then you propose your strategy. How are you going to get it to the market, right? So it's a mutual thing, right? Both the teams have to put their fullest to make this work out. So make both the teams see their own values. So only this way, I think, both these teams can work things out together and reach a middle ground. And this happened beautifully in my previous organization, I would say. I've seen the evolution of it. I've seen where, the feature gets launched and only then PMM comes into picture. I've been in that phase, and I've also been in that phase where the evolution took place and we started sitting on the ideation phase, right? So it's pretty important. It's essential. It's happening in my current organization as well, and it's working out great.
I have one last question around messaging. So, I mean, all of us are aware that positioning, messaging are important aspects, and a product marketer plays a pivotal role in that. Now, how frequently would you change that? How frequently you would revisit to see that, hey, does it need a change? What is it dependent on?
Great. Again, this depends on from company to company, the phase in which the company is. Irrespective of whichever phase you are in, you have to give it a minimum of 6 months to test out your messaging and positioning. If you're changing it quite often, if you're changing it fortnightly, you are in danger. One common thing for product marketing is you have to give it some time. It's not like unlike the other functions of product, unlike the other functions of marketing, product marketing takes the most time to show results. You have to wait for it, be it messaging positioning, be it the feature launch, be it whatever it is. You have to give it time to reflect. And that's why I'm saying a minimum of 6 months is the timeline that I would personally recommend for you to see the effects of messaging and positioning. And the metrics that you can go for is the traction that you get to your website, the pipeline influenced, ACV influenced, how is the engagement like when you are hosting your events, right? Organic. These are the places where you can actually see your messaging reflecting, and the type of customers that's falling in your bucket, which is like a guaranteed response to your messaging and positioning. Because when you do this exercise, you're also considering the customers that you want to target, the ICPs that you want to target. So if you're attracting the right set of audience, that is also an acknowledgement of your messaging and positioning working out. So these are the things that you can really watch out.
Lovely. Aishwarya, this was really great, and thank you for sharing your insights and your take on different aspects of product marketing. Now, if our audience would like to get in touch with you or learn more about you or probably ask you some questions, what's the best way?
They can definitely reach out to me through LinkedIn. I'm Aishwarya Mohan there as well, so they can reach out to me there. Happy to connect with anyone and help out.
And if you'd like to see another guest for this podcast, who would that be?
I can think of so many names, but I'd like to see Madhu Nair. He is the director of product marketing in More Engage. I've reported to him and I've seen him evolve the product marketing function for a particular product in Freshworks. So he'd be an amazing guest.
Really good. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Have a great day.
Thank you, Rish. It was great talking to you. Thanks for having me here today. Have a great day too.